Papua New Guinea's government has officially approved the beginning of discussions on a potential treaty that would allow its citizens to serve in the Australian Defence Force. PNG's Defence Minister, Dr. Billy Joseph, described the decision as a significant step that would deepen the relationship between the two nations. While talks haven't begun yet, the Executive Council just last week gave unanimous support to move forward with the mandate, Dr. Joseph stated. He also emphasized the importance of strengthening military partnerships with like-minded nations. For further details, let's tune into ABC News for a talkback segment featuring the ABC host and PNG Defence Minister, Dr. Billy Joseph.
PNG's cabinet has just been given the green light to start talks on a treaty that could see Papua New Guineans serve in the Australian Defence Force. Defence Minister Billy Joseph says it's a big move and one that will bring the two countries even closer.
Negotiation has not yet started. We just last week, the National Executive Council has unanimously agreed for the mandate. So the mandate has been given, and therefore it now paves way for the Department of Foreign Affairs and the responsible ministry, which is Department of Defense and the Papua New Guinea Defence Force, to now initiate with their counterpart in Australia to start having a zero draft and then having a conversation on what kind of outcomes that both countries would want to get out of the treaty. So as you would understand, I would not be giving you any details as to what the technical terms would be, but that would be definitely once final draft is achieved. It will be then also passed through our own system, that is through to the National Security Council, the CACC process, then to NEC, and if NEC approves, it goes to Parliament. So at this stage, to answer your question, no negotiation has actually commenced.
The Foreign Minister mentioned that part of this treaty, or the purpose of this treaty, would be to allow Papua New Guineans to serve in the Australian Defence Force. How exactly do you see that playing out, or how would that work exactly under this treaty?
Marianne, if you remember back in, I think last year, when the two Prime Ministers, Prime Minister James Marape and Prime Minister Albanese walked the Pagoda track, they did make a joint statement on the same agenda to have the Papua New Guinea Defence Force serving in the ADF. We also aware that there is an issue within Australia to recruit PNG ADF, and they also have a policy to go out and recruit from the Pacific. And so our position from the PNG perspective is that PNG is the only country that was, colonized by Australia, and PNG has very strong cultural and historical relationship with Australia. And so we also are the biggest country in the Pacific. And we do believe that much of that numbers has to come from PNG. Papua New Guinea Defence Force back in 1942, at that time it was called the Papuan Infantry Battalion and the New Guinea Infantry Battalion. You know, they fought with the Australian Defence Force in the ditches. So PNG DF and ADF working together, PNG citizens serving in the ADF is not a new thing. We've done this before. It's just that the conversation is different because we are now an independent country for over 50 years. But, with the geopolitics and the security environment in the region, it is really important that we build and strengthen our defense ties with people that share the same values and history and future. And this is why this conversation about the treaty is happening at this time. It is not because we feel that we are threatened by others or we have a common enemy. We don't. Basically, we do want the Pacific to remain peaceful and that, but we also have our own internal joint security challenges that we need to work together. And as far as PNG is concerned, we do have a huge youth bulge, about 58% of our population below the age of 25. And we do see the need for us to find employment, find jobs, and also to skill them up so that later on they become useful and they come back and serve in the civilian societies in PNG or in the PNG DF. So this is the sort of conversations that we'll be having.
You said earlier that Australia and PNG don't have a common enemy. But what happens if it does come to a conflict scenario? Will this treaty sort of include some provisions or some guarantees that Australia and PNG are allied in a conflict scenario?
In reality speaking, Marianne, is that if there's any conflict in Australia, whether we like it or not, it's still going to PNG is still going to get involved, and vice versa. So, like I said, we're not looking for any trouble, but if trouble comes to us, we've got to defend our countries. And that is why it is important that we have interoperability and integration of our two defense forces.